That gentle, peaceful music. Well, you know what it means, friends. It's time for another exciting episode. I'm not sure if either one of those words that begins with the letter E is appropriate to describe what this is. This is, of course, Law of Attraction Minutes with me, your host, Bob Doyle, from The Secret LOA Q&A Live every week right here on the Law of Attraction Resources Facebook page, which is where you are, most likely, although you could be various other places in the world of Facebook and Law of Attraction and Bob Doyle. But chances are pretty good that if you're here on my Law of Attraction Resources page. And I am going to, of course, start this like I always do. And Jane MacArthur is here right on time. Did I do this correctly? No, hold on. Paste and begin. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you're joining us on the replay, I've just pasted something, a comment. It's a comment that I post every single week here when I do this broadcast, which I do every single week, to answer and address your Law of Attraction questions, issues, etc. It's just something I do because I'm just that kind of guy. So we are going to be taking your Law of Attraction questions shortly, but I pasted something here. It's going to be one of the first comments on the feed right after Jane. And there are some links there that I'd like you to pay a little bit of attention to. The first two are notification links. If you click the first one, and it's clear, the instructions are clear. If you click the first one, you will be automatically notified when I'm going live with this Facebook Q&A, just in case you forget. I know most of you have this on your calendar or possibly even got a tattoo on your arm so that you wouldn't forget Wednesdays, 12 p.m. Pacific, which was, I gotta say, that's ill-advised. I wish you hadn't done the tattoo thing, because you know what? We may change the date, and then what are you gonna do? The tattoo removal? Revision? How are you gonna turn a Wednesday into a Thursday or whatever day I might change it to? Next time, I double think the whole tattoo thing, because you've got phones and you can set reminders. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting. Sometimes I forget this isn't the Bob Doyle show, and that kind of weird rambling isn't exactly what you're used to. The first two links there will get you notified in one of two ways. One on your Facebook messages and one on your desktop, as if by magic. You'll be just sitting there minding your own business, doing whatever it is you're doing on your desktop. That's your computer screen where you see icons for those of you not in the know or who aren't into the lingo like desktop. You'll get a little notification pops up, says something along the lines of, hey, every Wednesday, 12 noon Pacific, Bob Doyle, Law of Attraction, and so on. This avoids the email thing. And isn't that nice when you can avoid the email thing? I think it is. Let's say hello to some folks. Clarence is here. AJ, I don't know if it's pronounced AJ or AJ, but anyway, welcome. And of course, Denise is here. Denise, you have been a Facebook Live broadcasting maniac lately. Good on you, ma'am. And Megan is here. How did you get to the page today? Oh, you got my notification. Hooray, it works. Okay, so Deep says, how to attract something, which will make me very happy, but the visualization is a bit challenging. Well, we're going to talk about a little fun. Hey, Relena and Lucy. No, Lucy, you just got here. What are you talking about? You can't. No. Cancel your plans. Whatever it is, this has got to be more important. Got to be. All right, well, I don't know. All right, so look, the third link, the third and final link, but probably the most exciting technologically, is the tweet link, which will make you a superstar if, in fact, you tweet using hashtag BobDoyleLOA, which will be an automated process for you if you just click that link that says, whatever it says, I think it says BobDoyleLikesThis.com/tweetLOA or something of that nature. It'll pop up a little box. It's already pre-populated with something nice to say about the fact that you're watching the show and has the hashtag and a link back here. You don't have to do anything. You just click a link and then click a button. Click a link, click a button. That's it. And then you share the love. Isn't that something special? Love and the sharing of it that you can be a part of. And the bonus is, of course, that as you do that, your tweets appear right here on the screen for all to see. So you become a part of history. History! And who doesn't want to become a part of history? If it's good enough for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, I think it's probably good enough for you. To go down, 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 down. In history. All right, those of you who are not watching from America with the Christmas tradition have no freaking clue what I'm talking about. So I'm sorry if I alienated you in that. All right. Let's see what Megan asks. Someone made a comment last week about coincidence and how to interpret it. Is it not coincidence, but rather something you attracted? Thank you for giggling, Jane. That's all I really care about. If I can impart a little LOA information, that's awesome. But giggling, that's really the top priority of this program. We need everyone to giggle just a little. Because a little more giggling in your life, doesn't that just make everything better? So look, there's no coincidence per se. You are, and yes, basically you attracted it. But see, when you say it like that, when you just tell people that, man, there's going to be a lot of resistance to that statement. But because if they don't have a deeper understanding of what vibrational alignment is and how that works, you're getting yourself into a conversation that is going to be hard to navigate. You know, if in fact that is a conversation you would enter into. I just don't get into, here's the thing, I don't get into conversations like that with people if I feel like it's going to be a chore to get them up to speed, because why? What's the point? Most people, I'm not saying this about whoever that was, but a lot of times they bring that stuff up because they want to debate with you about the law of attraction, or are you really attracting things, or it's just they want to debate that. They have a position. Hey, Jerry. And why? Why go there? People with an agenda, they can't be. It's why. That's my theory. Life just needs to flow. You be a living example. You be the proof by living it, not having to explain it to people. Let me do that for you. All right. Hey, Marion, as always, tweeted because she's a team player. And so her tweet is going to show up here along with a couple of others, or no, just one other that's still in the queue from last week. It gets pretty exciting when you see these names up here. You're probably thinking, God, what can I tweet? What can I tweet? Again, you don't even have to think about that. You just click the link and magic happens. But if you want to be creative, you can certainly do that too. How do you overcome the fear of other people's opinions, Bob? That's a great question, Scotty, and something that I have been definitely, and Jeff is here as well. Hi, Jeff. The fear of other people's opinions. Well, so that's kind of a deeper question because we have the reactions we have around other people's opinions for a variety of reasons, and they're all different and unique to us. If a person's opinion, if we're bothered by a person's opinion, it's probably reminding you of an expressed opinion you got a long time ago, when you were a little more impressionable and that person had more of a significance in your life. Something like that, very often. Sometimes just recognizing that your reaction has to do with something that has nothing to do with what's relevant for you today is enough for you to just blow it off. But since I'm in that position right now where I have definitely moved from being kind of ruled by what will people think to, wow, I really don't care at all what other people think. I'll just share what that was for me or how I was able to get to that point. And it's really because of what it is that they would have an opinion about. In my case, like a career direction, like I'm going to do the Bob Doyle show now and put all my focus there instead of, all my years of law of attraction work. It'd be very easy for a lot of people to form an opinion and share it with me. And now, if I had any doubts at all about my direction, those opinions might sway me. I might get shaken by them. They may echo a voice that's in my head, that I've been thinking or not wanting to look at for a while, and so it makes it, oh, maybe that's true, maybe it's true, maybe their opinion is more valid than mine, what a silly thing when you think about it. It's your life, it's what you want to do. Who the hell cares what other people think? I mean, really, when you think about it that way, their opinion of what your life should mean nothing, but it does, because we've been wired to make it mean that. So if you can just realize that you've been programmed to care what other people think and go, okay, well, I'm not going to be ruled by programs anymore. And if you can get super clear on where you're going and why you're going there, and you know why, and that anybody else's opinions is based on their stuff, their own ideas about limitation. They don't know you. They don't know what you're capable of. They know themselves. They know what they're capable of. And if you stretch their boundary of comfort, they start to freak out and go, I don't think you should do that. I don't think you can do it. And they're going to make that face too, which is really weird. Just kind of a universal thing. Roberto, I am great, especially now that you are here. Melanie, yeah, it's been a long time. Not even 24 hours. Not even 24. Plus, I've seen you since then because, of course, I've watched the replay. By the way, so I was a guest on Melanie Bundock's Blab yesterday. We talked about fun things like passion and joy and the Bob Doyle show. And at one point, I have to share this. At one point, Melanie lost her connection. She was hosting the show on Blab. So there I was with her audience and an open microphone and camera a-rolling. So if you don't think I had a little bit of fun with that, you are mistaken. But what happened is that what happened, Melanie, just so you know, and I guess you have to know this on some level. It did record a lot of my own little monologue there, and then it stopped recording it, and then it started again when Melanie came back on and we resumed the recording. So there's a big chunk of stuff I said that is lost forever that you didn't see, but there is some that I did. Anyway, you guys should go check out that Blab. It's posted on my personal timeline somewhere, and I think I may have even, I think it's below this post actually, so you can go check that out because that was fun. Always love playing with. See, funniest blab ever. See, these are the types of reviews I need for the Bob Doyle show, ladies and gentlemen, so I can put them on them. All right. Anyway, can I turn the lake down? Thank you for saying that. Yeah, I was doing the lake a little bit differently this week. And, hold on a second. Oh, I know. Sorry. It's probably more quiet on this page, isn't it? I don't know. Maybe not. I'm clicking wrong buttons again. Bear with me. I'm gonna turn it down for you because, again, I just want everybody to be happy, everybody to be comfortable. Is that better? Let's let that happen. Okay. Let me know, Jane. All right, Lorraine says, if someone has hit rock bottom and you want to help them, but they ignore your help, do you still... Oh, no! See, yeah, Lake Loa. Lake Loa. I have no idea where it is, Melanie. It's behind me. So please tell me, Jane, if that's better. There was a question, and I lost it. Folks, did you guys share this broadcast? It doesn't look like people shared. It's time to share. How are we going to grow this community into a force to be reckoned with if we don't get more people in here on a weekly basis? Or maybe, and I was thinking about this morning, I have to be honest, maybe every week is too much. Maybe I address it, once a month because people just don't have the questions. If I don't have questions and stuff, even though I haven't really even gotten to what I came here with yet. But if I can't fill an hour of helping people, then I should probably space it out. I can't scroll comments on mine, Melanie. I can't do it. It won't scroll, and I don't know what to do. Wait a minute. No. Yeah. I don't know how to get to a view while I'm broadcasting where I can scroll. And I know you can do it somehow because I do it on other things. But whenever I do the Law of Attraction broadcast, it doesn't. No matter what I do. So, sorry. I have to kind of I'm relegated to the ones that are right here in front of me for some reason. But I wish I could have seen that one. Oh, look at that. A couple of people tweeted and one little annoying thing is I have to go check. I have to validate the tweet before it'll show up. So, we'll go back over here so you can see it. These are the fruits of your labor. Lorraine Carroll said, if someone hit rock bottom and you want to help them, but they ignore your help, do you still help them and hang around to let them know you are still there for them, or do you leave their energy space and wish them well and follow your own pathway? What feels right to you? Of those two choices, what feels the most right? I'm gonna go with option 2. Mind your own beeswax and move forward on your own pathway. Nothing more draining than trying to help somebody who doesn't want the help. What's even more draining is the person who says they want the help, but they don't really want the help. That means they want you to show up and be there and pour all your energy into them, but they don't really want your help. How many of you know people like that? Let's raise your hands up high. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone. So, yeah. See, we're all in agreement here. And that's the beauty of having a community. You don't just have to believe me. You can also believe everybody else. Denise. Pinky's here. And Melanie. And Jane. We have a consensus. That's the beauty part. And Christine has given us this. Thank you, Christine. That's kind of what I was looking for, too. You nailed it. Okay. Anyway, look, seriously, we got to get this group up to like hundreds. What am I doing wrong? That's what I'm saying. I think doing too many of these, it dilutes it. You go, oh, he does it every week. I'll catch it next week. And then you just don't. And you figure, I can always go watch the replay. It loses its juice. It loses its jazz. And my message every week is pretty much the same. Have your vision. Don't stop. That's the message. And I say it in different ways. Really trying to simplify it for you. Oh, I could complicate it. And you're certainly welcome to purchase any of the Boundless Living programs like Wealth Beyond Reason if you just want to go so deep into the law of attraction, can't even believe it, and understand all the ins and outs of it and so on and so forth. But I'm just saying that what I've realized over the course of time is the simpler you make this whole law of attraction thing, the simpler it's going to be for it to work for you. If you've got it complicated in your mind, it's going to show up complicated in your life. And you're always going to think, oh, I need that one more technique, that one more book. See, I say this every week too. See, I'm saying the same stuff over and over. You don't need me weekly, except on the Bob Doyle show. Then you probably need me 3 or 4 times a week. Jane says it's not so special watching the replay because you want to ask your own questions, but you can't if it's replay. Well, that's true. Hi, Jory. Jory, you're so special. Can I just say that again? Everyone needs to get to know Jory. You just got to trust me on that. Michelle, how do you deal with critical negative people? Well, first of all, I'm happy to answer that question. That's another one that I answer all the time because it is a very common question. The question is, what do you mean with deal with them? Do you really want to deal with them? What are you trying to do with a negative person? Are you trying to change them from a negative person to a positive person? That's really not up to you. That's the problem. Ooh, it's so annoying. This free choice thing. Ugh! If only people would just think like us, wouldn't the world be better? I know it would. Yeah, but that's not how it is. So dealing with negative people is really about dealing with yourself. It's about dealing with your own management of the energy that's brought up by you by a person who you perceive as being negative. So these people are being how they're being. You interpret what they're doing as being negative because it goes against what you think is positive. And then you have an interpretation and you have an emotional response that is probably based on all sorts of different things. You could feel frustrated because here you are trying to be a positive person, and here comes Mr. Negative bringing up all those memories in you about what it was like when you were a negative person. Me, a negative person? I don't know what you're talking about. There was probably some time in your life when, you know. And the thing is that you also have to understand that the people who are in your life, these negative people who are around you, they're there because on some level you resonate with them. You vibrationally align with them. Doesn't mean you're just like them, and it doesn't mean you're a negative person per se, but there's something about them that resonated. Could be the fact that you're part of the same family. That could be it too. But the point is that, hey, someone else tweeted, and it's Dawn. So we've got Dawn and Jeff and Denise and Marion all tweeted today. Where are the rest of you? Okay. So those people are in your life because you have been in alignment with them, and now you're wanting to change the game, you're putting your focus somewhere else, your vibration changes, you may or may not resonate with them, they're going to respond to you differently, it's going to feel differently, and now you have a choice to make. You're not going to change the negative person. You can choose to try, but you will feel drained and frustrated. The idea is for you to commit more and more to being who you are. And if the negative relationship has to fall away for you to be able to do that, that is the way of the world, my friends. Boo-hoo and move on. Because you're talking about compromising your entire life to make somebody else more comfortable. Now, is that what you really want? I don't think so. Okay. If someone else is critical of what you're doing, it is best to just ignore. We have a theme, don't we? That it's a toxic person you don't need in your life. You can only change yourself. So you guys are great at echoing me, or maybe you're even saying it before I say it. Which just goes to show, see, you guys know all this already. And maybe you just come out here to hang out. And which is fine. I'll take any reason to hang out in a broadcasty sort of way. As you all know, I love it. Hey, so I actually came to this call with a little something I wanted to share with you, and if you saw the title, and it's probably in the description, it's about a visualization technique I want you to try. And here's what I'm saying about this, being totally honest. So this just occurred to, you came for the beer, we just ran out. It's already 12:20 in the afternoon, Dawn. You got to get here at 9 a.m. That's a joke. We all know Bob Doyle is dry. What was I saying? Yeah, last night we did a Fun with Bob and Lynn show, and we had our special guest Rachel Reenstra, and Rachel came in with a glass of wine because she had to deal with traffic. And then about halfway through the show, Lynn said she needed wine, and I was just sitting there, all not wine. And I was watching that going, you know, there was a time just a year ago I would have been right there with them, but no, not anymore. Look at that, Pinky tweeted. Thank you, Pinky, for tweeting. Your name will appear here, like Jeff's has. You see, that's from today. All right, so I want to share this. I want to share this visualization technique with you. And here's the thing: I'm saying try this because honestly, this just like occurred to me yesterday. I've never heard anybody else in this space ever suggest this technique. Maybe because it sounds a little silly at first, but bear with me and see what you think, because I'm going to take it on. And I want you to take it on. And there's many levels as to why I think this will work. So let's see if I can put words together to have it make sense. Are we ready? Okay. So here's the idea. Basically, the idea, of course, of the law of attraction is, ideally, we should be visualizing what we want, right? And then allowing it into our life. To have the experience of having it now, right? We have a vision, something's going to happen, this is how I'd like it to play out, and then ideally the universe delivers that to us, and then we experience it, right? So the idea is that we want to evolve to having the ability to basically visualize something and then have it occur, right? That's the ultimate goal. So I'm going to say, let's try this crazy, crazy thing. But you have to commit to it, or else I know for sure it's not going to work. It doesn't mean you have to do it every time, because you'd be doing it all day, as will be clear in a moment. So what if we trained ourselves? What if we could train ourselves? How much? Let me ask you this. This is the first time I'm saying any of this out loud, by the way, so bear with me. I forgot how I was going to frame this, but what if we could train our brains to know that when we visualize something we want, it occurs? Like, if that's just what we train our brain. So in other words, we don't have the whole doubting that our visualization will bring something, because we have multiple experiences of it happening. What do you think that would do to your manifesting power through the power of visualization if your brain was trained to get what it visualized way, way, way more often than not? So that, after a while, this whole, I think I'm skipping a step. So here's what I want you to do. I know, look, guys, this is going to sound silly, but bear with me. Are you willing to bear? And it's not enough to bear against me. You got to bear with me on this. Okay. It's good, Melanie. So check this out. What if, before you're going to go through your day, you're going to do a bazillion things today. You're going to do a bazillion things today. And a bazillion is a lot. You're a very busy person. What if before you did any particular task, like let's say, I'll just choose one. A cup of coffee. You're going to go get yourself a cup of coffee. There's nothing stopping you from getting that cup of coffee. This isn't any big universal task. It's right there. You're about to go do it anyway, right? What if before you did that, you stopped and you visualized doing it? You walk through the process in your mind of grabbing the cup, you feel it in your hand, you feel the spoon, you feel the whole thing, the coffee, you go through the thing, you smell it in your mind, exactly what you're about to do. I'm glad you like the water. It is very relaxing, although I can't hear it today because my iPad ran out of juice that usually, you don't need to know this. So then you have your visualization and then you do it exactly as you visualized it. You can do that with every single thing in your day. Like as simple as walking outside the door. Before you walk outside the door. Now, on some level, you're doing it already. On some level, you are doing this instant, don't even think about it, autopilot visualization. Before you do anything, it goes through as a thought or an intention in your mind. Everything you're doing is visualize a little bit. Oh, look at all these 3 tweets. But you don't think about it like that because you're not taking time to do it, not time that you can, not time that you acknowledge. But that process, sorry, I'm trying to find your comments here. That process is happening somewhere in your brain. You're going, this is what I want, you see it, you know how it's going to go, and then you execute. I'm saying slow that process down, become actually present to visualizing what you're going to do next, whatever that is. So that you get now your brain, your logical brain with, the one that your conscious brain, the one that you are actually going through this process of doing these visualizations, you're consciously doing that. So now this conscious brain gets trained from imagine, have, imagine, have, imagine, have. Are you following me? I'm now reading. Are you all just blown away? You're silenced into submission. You're speechless at this point. I just want you to try it for a while and see what happens. Again, I've never heard anybody say this because, I don't know, maybe it just sounds silly, but when you think about what's happening and how we are as human beings, somewhat at the mercy of the wiring of our brain. We can understand all these principles of manifestation and all those other things, but our brain is going to work how it's going to work until we train it otherwise. And so if we've become skeptical or analytical or too logical about things and we visualize something and then we immediately, our whole thought process is, that's not going to happen, or I don't know how that's going to happen, now it's up to me to figure it out. If any of that stuff happens, look at you guys tweeting, it's awesome. This is got to be the best tweet show ever. So instead we retrain our brain to expect exactly what we visualize every single time. What would that do to us energetically? How would that tweak our vibration, the power of our intention? It's all theoretical. I'm making this crap up. But doesn't it make a little bit of sense? Right, Basil? Says makes sense. Just like training in the gym, exactly. You're open to receive this. Thank you, Relena. Thank you for being open. And Marion says, so that eventually I can visualize a check in the mail and it arrives. I don't know. That's your world. Possibly, of course. But I don't really know. Look, another tweet. You guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Getting pretty soon now, I'm going to be able to do a tweet contest. Still got to get more players in the game, though. Not so sure if it's only a theory, says Jory. Well, of course I know. Just like I know. The way I know everything that I know about the law of attraction is a knowing. But, a lot of people like science books and stuff and experiments and that kind of crap before they believe something. Whatever. So I'm calling it a theory. But to me, it seems pretty cool. Megan says it might manifest in a different way. Oh, you're not on Twitter, Michelle. That's all right. I get it. I don't see why it couldn't work either. Well, of course not. How could it? I mean, you're telling your brain, wow, I'm a really powerful manifester. I get everything I visualize. And the more you do it throughout the day, now obviously, you could break that down into your day taking way too long. But, it's just something that if you think about it, and ideally it should be before something that brings you pleasure. Yeah? Like that cup of coffee. or a great meal, or playing with your dog, or whatever it is. Something that really makes you feel good. Like, I don't know, if you know you're going to get a check from somebody, visualize it first. I don't know. Just something to play with. Melanie says, I did a similar exercise before I manifested my trip to Disney, all about knowing something is going to happen, but like brushing your teeth, making coffee. So you were doing that. Great. And Melanie is a very powerful manifester. Oh yes, she is. So if she does something and it works, you should learn from that. Works with everything else. Why not coffee? What if coffee was somehow exempt from the rules of the law of attraction? Like that was the universal loophole. Which actually, of course, it's in divine order, but we as humans couldn't understand it. So it's actually perfect that coffee is exempt. But like, what if that was the one thing there's just no freaking possible way to attract a cup of coffee? But of course, we all know that's not true because it's probably the single most used example of something to attract on the planet when you're starting out. So I think we're all pretty clear that we can manifest coffee. Cups, pitchers, jugs. Jugs of coffee. How many jugs of coffee did you bring to the picnic? I didn't bring any jugs. I brought thermoses. Is it thermoses or thermi? We need to get this down before you go to the picnic because you're going to embarrass yourself. Just saying. Earl Grey tea. If that's what brings you joy. But I really am. I'm going to try. Now, it's quite a habit to get into. And of course, you don't want to spend your whole life doing it. You want to just do it until it clicks. And you become an instant manifester. And then everyone's going, where'd all these wizards come from? I'll tell you where. The weekly Bob Doyle Law of Attraction Q&A. Back when we couldn't get more than 20 people in here on a good day. But now there's 12, 13 wizards in the world, and everybody wants to know how they're doing it. And they'll say, well, you all had your chance. I shared on your timeline. Sorry. This is an exclusive technique for the June 15th. Happy birthday to my sister, by the way. Sharon says, my mom was a very positive person, believed in the LOA, though she didn't have a name for it. My brother took after me. My dad, took after her. Me, my dad, God bless him, he was a Yankee. Now, Sharon did her fair share of laughing in that post. First, she laughed out loud about midway through. She tickled herself and laughed out loud. But then, by the end, laughed her butt right off. It's right there in print. So that's a really happy household. And that's just good because I said at the beginning, giggling is really what this is all about. Thank you, Michelle. How can we attract more people onto here? You just got to, I think more than just a sharing link, you kind of got to write a thing. I'm finding the same thing about the Bob Doyle show. It's very hard to explain. Why do people even show up to that show? It's unpredictable. I can't tell you from week to week what's going to be on. How do you explain a show like that? And I think that the reason you come here and the reason you go to the show is something that's indescribable in traditional ways, isn't it? It's a vibe. It's a vibe, isn't it? How do you describe a vibe? You got to say, I don't know what to say about this, but you just got to check it out because whatever. I don't know. But that's the thing. I already know. I've always known from the beginning. And maybe that's why I've attracted it. I've created that I have an elite audience. Doesn't make you better than other people, but very distinct group of people who get the way I do things that I do. Especially now in this space, because I'm totally changing my law of attraction conversation to more my Bob Doyle show conversation. Do you need a wizard wand? You don't need one, but how cool would it be to have one? Maybe once we're all wizards and stuff using this new technique, we'll create our own branded wizard wand. And again, it's only for us, not the Johnny-come-latelys who join this show after they learn, I can become a wizard there. Because then I think they're just using us, right? They just want their powers. They just want their wizard powers, and they're going to move on. Yeah, Penny, thank you. And then, yeah, but then the wizard wand creation will begin. That would be really fun, wouldn't it? Have a group that we call it. But first we have to be wizards. We can't just say we are. That would be rude. And condescending a little bit too. If I saw some group online that called themselves the Wizards of anything, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Conjure something, then I'll believe. But see, that's what we're talking about. We're gonna faster than ever before because we're gonna train our brains that of course we get what we visualize. It happens all day long. It's a fun theory. We'll see what happens. Got to come back, report in a week. The thing is, I know you're going to forget. Some of you are going to forget. You're going to forget, or you're going to blow it off. You're going to try it for a day, and then go, it didn't work, and then move on. Don't fall into that mentality. You've got to rewire your brain. It takes a long time. It's taken all of these years to get you where you are. So give yourself some time to wire differently. Won't you please? Most people don't. You know why? Because we're not wired to give ourselves the time to rewire. It's the perfect plan from those who want us controlled. You know, our ego. Send out reminder videos. Yeah, you know, I don't know if you're talking about this show, Don, or this or whatever, but I'm really clear that if I took segments from the show, like the Bob Doyle show, or even segments from this, and littered them out on timelines throughout the week, say, hey, here's what you're missing on this show or that show, that would help tremendously. I need an assistant. I can't do all this. I mean, because then it becomes not fun. So I'm just kind of waiting for that person to show up. Who knows how to do all this geeky stuff and take all my videos afterward, put those over here, classify these, get this on iTunes, do all this. I gotta have that person. Because I could learn it, but you know what? That's how I've been running my life all this time, and it's exhausting. I want to find somebody who already knows. First time here, I like you, sir. Looking forward to learn something valuable from you that not only help me, but also in return help me to spread your teachings. Well, that's awesome. It's as easy as a share button. Yep. So you do what all the time, Dawn? Oh, all the stuff that I just said I need? Yep. Anyway, all right, we gotten off topic a little bit. We can answer your questions again. It's only 12:37. You know, I give myself an hour. We don't have to go the whole hour, though. I'm not under contract under anyone. Nobody's paying me to do this, to do my hour. But anybody who watches this on a regular basis, or certainly watches the Bob Doyle show knows that I could easily sit here and talk for another 20 minutes about absolutely nothing. All right, what do you think about of Revelations of Insider 2005 about visualization? Never heard of it, Lucy. Don't know anything about it. You're a marketer, or whatever way I can assist you, will be happy to help. Oh, that's nice of you. Yes, well, I know a lot of marketers because I was one. I guess I am one, but I mean, you know, I belong, or did belong, to several high-end marketing masterminds, and I just lost the taste for it. But the trick here is that, you know, I feel, and those who know me know, I am a unique product because I'm not trying to sell law of attraction packaging. I'm trying to sell whatever. What I need is for people to know who Bob Doyle is, as in Bob Doyle show, or how I am here, or whatever, and need a strategy. Let's see. Vassal just said, one of the moments that you watch the screen and think, what just happened? Oh, what happened? See, now I'm having it. How do you make money when you're retired? You find something to do to contribute value to the world that people will pay you for. I think there's a lot of people who are retired who run online businesses, passive or something, or they've turned a hobby into a, you know, they get an Etsy site. They build things or make crafts, or I don't know. There's so many different ways that you can give back. A lot of people, retired people, are great for coaches, for being coaches. They've lived their life. They've got a whole bunch of experience. They're sitting around with all this knowledge that they can contribute to people in various areas. And rather than being like a consultant and getting back into that sort of corporate environment, you could become a coach in a particular area and do it exactly when you want, how you want, for as long as you want, and charge as much as you want. How's that? Oh, that's very nice, Jane. Thank you. Hang on one second. I'm going to see if these are the glasses that will actually help me read this. Yes. Sorry. These are, I think, are crooked. Let's see. Why everything I do seems to take time and not work well recently, while I see others doing the same and succeeding. Well, Chadi, I don't know exactly, and it's one of those tricky things where what's happening for you is, for whatever reason, you're in energetic alignment with things going how they are and taking time. And that could be because it's supposed to take time, and you're messing yourself up by comparing yourself with others, because that's not, there's no need to do that. You have your path, they have theirs. Your divine timing may could be completely different than their divine timing. And to get stuck on, well, they're going faster than me, you guys aren't maybe ultimately going in the exact same place. And you may not want to have the same feelings and the same experiences. You're different people, different situations. That's one thing. Or you could be, what happens for some people is that they had a lot of success with the law of attraction or whatever, and maybe they got a little sloppy, or they start thinking, well, this was too easy. When's the other shoe going to drop? Right? And then that kind of conversation gets in your head, and that can slow things down. So there's lots of exploring that we would have to do for me to know exactly maybe what the deal is with you. Was the biggest thing I manifested? Are you asking me that? I don't know. I mean, I've done things early on was like exercise equipment, a Bowflex. I manifested a Bowflex. And that's a funny story on its own, but I won't tell you right now. Car, house, And again, these things, well, actually in the case of the Bowflex, it was sort of a out of thin air, here you go, no strings attached manifestation. And with the first car, it was finding an amazing deal and exactly the kind of car I wanted, and effortless to pay for. And the house, same thing, was looking for a vibe and found just the right vibe. But it's not like somebody said, hey, here's a free house. I never had that expectation or belief or desire or intention to get a free house. I just wanted whatever. Someone said hi to Susie, but I don't know what Susie. Are we talking Susie in the next room here? Who's in here? I missed. All right. Focusing too much on them and not enough manifestation of your... I'm missing some. Marion, you should Google Barry Vaynerchuk's video on entrepreneurs over 50. I think it's time to really follow your passions. Yeah, I was saying... what was I on? It was either a showette or maybe it was on Melanie's show, or I don't know. I was just railing about something about that happened to me after turning 50, because I was saying I never think about age. I think it was a showette yesterday for the Bob Doyle show. But there is something about hitting 50, you go, wait a minute. I'm not tolerating anything else anymore. I'm only doing what I want. And the thing is, you should do that when you're 20, not wait till you're 50. But yeah, just shake it off and go, okay, wait a minute. Seriously? Another 50 years I'm going to do it that way? Ugh, no. I'm going to do what I want and only what I want. And that takes some adjustment. Jory says, yes, but wait until 60 and all the rules go out the window. I'm just going to trust you on that, Jory. I believe everything Jory says, and so should you. That's my advice. That's my tip for the day. Of the many I've given you, first I give you wizard training in a couple of paragraphs, and then I tell you that Jory is, okay. You hit 50 in exactly 4 weeks from today. Well, first of all, good on you for admitting it instead of hiding from it. Something I've never really understood. I won't go down that road right now. But I could. Oh, I could. People say, well, that's easy for you to say, Bob. You don't look 50. Well, thank you, first of all, for saying that. But the reason I don't is because I don't feel 50, never have felt 50. And I don't have any pre-expectation of what 50 is supposed to be like anyway. So I'm just as childish and immature as I was when I was 20. And I think that's keeping the gray hairs at bay for a little while. They're in there. Oh yeah, they're in there. Some days they seem to be there more than others. Can anybody explain that? Is it possible that one day your hair is gray and the next day it's not as gray? I'm not a hairologist, so I don't know. Joy says, I used a chainsaw on a ladder in my nightgown in my front yard because a branch was blocking my view. Now that paints a picture. Doesn't it, boys and girls? All right, I think we sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Disintegrated? Whatever. Who looks like they're in their 30s? Me? Are you talking about me? That'd be nice. I don't know who you're talking about. It could be anybody in this room right now. Of course, all I see is little tiny pictures. I don't know what everybody looks like. I know what Jory looks like, though. Alrighty. Well, look. I don't know why I feel like I have to say more. I just gave you the secret to wizardry, maybe. No, seriously, we're going to try that, aren't we? Some of us are going to try that. And some of us are going to come back next week and go, I tried it for like a day and then I got caught up and I forgot. I'm totally going to do it this week. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, I'll try it today too. So just, again, to recap, for those of you who might have come in late, playing with a new manifestation or visualization technique that I just popped into my head yesterday afternoon that we're going to try. And that is to, before you do anything in your day, preferably something that you're going to enjoy doing, before you just go do it, take a minute to visualize yourself doing it. Full-on visualization, as if you were trying to attract it into your life. You're feeling it like you're having it now. If there's touch involved, smell involved, taste involved, whatever senses you can bring up in this visualization before you actually do it, and then do it. And then put into action exactly what you just visualized, and do that throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year. I don't know how long it's going to take. But to train your brain to go, when I visualize, I receive. When I visualize, I receive exactly what I have. Try it for a parking space. All right. Thank you, Penny. We appreciate you too, every single one of us. And the message and the calming waters put the toddler to sleep. That's what I'm here for. It is both a law of attraction Q&A and a bedtime story. That's right. Kind of like a babysitting service. I actually have been accused many, many times of putting people to sleep just by talking about anything. And it's not because the content's boring, okay? I could be talking about, I don't know, the most exciting thing in the world. And still people will fall asleep. No, you don't. The sleep is free of charge. How about that? Good. Got some giggling. All right, so that's that. We had some LOLing, we had some butts falling off, and we had some giggling today. I'm going to call that a pretty successful day. And I'm going to call that a successful show. Sure. I never really thought about calling this a show until it became clear to me that I'm doing a show. I'm not just answering questions. And the sooner I admit that, the better for all of us. So I've admitted it. It's my favorite book. I have a lot of books that have changed my life. Illusions by Richard Bach is probably one of the most pivotal. Celestine Prophecy made a big difference in my life, although it's like I read it once, that's all I needed. Illusions I've read a few times. Bug-Free Mind by Andy Shaw. Both volumes I consider must-reads for every individual, but if you're just going to read them once, forget it. You got to read them multiple times, but they will change your life. All right. If I visualize me eating, will I be full before I actually eat? That's a really interesting question, Pinky. Why don't you find out? We may have also created a diet plan. Bob Doyle's Wizardry/Diet Plan Method. It's my new book. My publisher's been after me for one for a really long time, and I think Wizardry/Diet Plan. In today's marketplace, one book, that's it. I'm good for life. Oprah, it's, that's a given. Well, good. Jennifer's read Bug Free, both volumes. It's a lot of reading. This is where the Law of Attraction Minutes theme gets a little funky. A little scratchy. All right, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with me. I always enjoy it very, very much. And we'll do it again next week, right here on this page, the Bob Doyle Law of Attraction Resources page, right here on Facebook.